Welcome back to Knits and Bolts Costume Design, and if you're new here, I'm Rebecca. I do hope you are joining me as part of CosTube Symposium 2022. Here new due to CosTube Symposium. I'll be sure to link all of their information down in the description box so that you can check out other creators that are sharing content this weekend. Be sure to do all the YouTube things like, share, and subscribe. And stick around to the ends of my videos, because you never know when I'll be posting a trivia question. And if I post that trivia question, make sure to comment the answer to the trivia question in the comment section. So let's get to our adventure. You have bags of fabric here, or do you have bags of fabric there, or do you have stacks of fabric in a cubby or a shelf like that? If you do have your bags of fabric here and bags of fabric there, stacks of fabric here and stacks of fabric there, let's turn cardboard into custom fabric bolts to make everything neat and tidy. Alright everyone, we're going to first talk about the supplies that we're going to need to make our custom fabric bolts. You're going to need a ruler, you'll need a pencil, you'll need a cutting supplies, so paper, scissors, X-Acto knife, utility knife. You'll need glue of your choice. I'm just using a glue stick. Now you'll want something to hold your bolt together while it's gluing. I got these at Dollar Tree. This was in the laundry section and this was in the hardware section, and I just kind of got me a stash of them. Also need a 16 by 18 piece of cardboard. Now this is for my measurements for my cubbies, so I need 10 inches for it to fit my cubby. So you'll need to adjust the length or the width based on what your space allows for, and I'll show you how to make those adjustments. My boards, they're length and width are about the same. So on the 16-inch side and the 18-inch side, I mark accordingly. The first step is to mark 2 3/4 inches down from the top and up from the bottom. Now here I have mine marked in so that you can see them, but I just use the pencil. Next, from the 16-inch side, I marked in 5 1/4 inches. So from from left and right side. This creates 4 rectangles at each corner. And then mark each corner with an X, just so that I know that that's the portions that I'm going to cut away. Our next step is to mark in 3 1/4 inches from each of the 16-inch sides. The next step is to mark in, and so on your 3/4 inch mark, you're only going to mark between the X'd out portions. So it'll only go from here to here. Next, you're going to make a 4 1/2 inch mark in from the left and right sides between the rectangles. Now this is where you're making the width and the width and the length of your bolt. Now at this point you can adjust your length to however long you need it. So and then also you can adjust the width. So if you have to make this wider, you're also going to have to make this adjustment wider. Now this edge is 3 1/4. This mark is 3 1/4. Now this is the thickness of your bolt, so this thickness. The next step will be to mark 2 inches in from the 18-inch side, 2 inches between the rectangles on each end. This makes the thickness of the bolt. Next is to cut away those X portions to give you this T shape. Alright, so the next step will be to take your utility knife, and do be careful, make sure you're holding it correctly. If you need to use safety gloves to do that, to make sure you're safe, go ahead and do that. You're going to only score the top layer of the cardboard at each one of your marks. So the 3/4 mark, the 4 1/2 mark, the 5 1/4 mark, at your 2-inch mark, and your 2 3/4 inch mark, both at the top and bottom, left and right. So on each one of the lines, make your scores. And then what you will do is you will begin to fold everything to the inside. So first start with your sides, like so. Now my cardboard is a little bit older, so it's a little bit squidgy, so it's kind of trying to buckle. So this is how you should meet in the middle. So your 3/4 inch side should meet. So next is that I am just going to apply glue generously to both sides. I have only used glue stick, so I have had no issues with it sticking or anything like that. I just give it plenty of time to dry before I start using them. So once I have the glue on, I just make sure I fold it back in. This is where you might get a little geeky, so you may want to have a wet towel to wipe your hands off. So I just kind of push it together in the center. Now this is where you need all the extra hands. So this is where these little clips come in. So while I am getting the ends ready to glue up, I just put me a series of clips on here. So the next thing is you will fold each of your ends in. So you'll start at your 2 3/4 mark and your 2-inch mark. I pre-fold them a little bit before I put the glue on, just to make sure that everything's going in the right place. So I'm going to apply the glue generously here. Okay, and as you can see, as I get it folded up, I just use my clips to secure them in place. I'll go ahead and do this one as well, just to go ahead and get it drying. I also want to show you something that happens, especially if you're using like boxes as your cardboard, and you may have, like this one for example, had a spot for you to lift the box. I just take that little tidbit and I just rip it off. It doesn't make a little gapey hole, but if you wanted to be fussy, you could like fold that all in and make it closed in. But I put the clips on, and they're all in ready to go. And so I'll just make a stash of these, and as I use fabric, of course, I can reuse them.